painter, museum director, arts advocate, and doll maker Kimberly Camp in her Collingswood gallery.
After leading major institutions such as the Barnes Foundation, the Smithsonian Experimental Gallery, and the African American Museum in Detroit, Kimberly Camp, always an artist, opened her own gallery in Collingswood, New Jersey.
The gallery is a place where people can come and buy things that are handmade, whether they have $5 in their budget or $5,000. I also sell my work in the gallery, my paintings and dolls. And try to encourage people to become collectors of original work. Kevin is just a rabbit, but Paganini is a phenomenon. Whenever I'm making dolls, I always start out with a body of faces, heads, the hard parts, the plastic parts. So I'll always have, when I get ready to sort of assemble things, an array of faces and things sort of looking at me from the table. And I will take a head, and then it tells me what it wants to be. And from there I'll decide what the body should be, and I go and cut it out. I don't use patterns for anything. For me, the dolls are fun. I consider them to be play. When people look at them and smile, I'm happy. One of the jurors at Peters Valley, when I got this gold medal, said, "Your artwork makes me smile." That's the best compliment that I could have. The dog in the silk chiffon, his name is Some Enchanted Evening.
The difference between dolls, which are toys that you play with, and dolls in my collection is that most of the dolls in my collection were made by artists. Artists have a long history of making dolls in the same way that they paint or sculpt. And so I have dolls made by a number of contemporary women artists and other kinds of cultures besides the United States. I'm very fortunate to have a pair of soft sculptures by Faith Ringgold, which she made in 1975. This pair is beautifully decked out in brocade clothing.
The internationally renowned American artist Faith Ringgold, famous for her story quilts, also made dolls, also called soft sculptures, in the 1970s.
Faith Ringgold saw my dolls and fell in love with them and asked if she could buy some, and I, of course, tacky, had some stuck under the bench. I said, "Sure, I have a bunch right here." She bought all of them. And a few months later, I got a call from Faith Ringgold saying that Essence magazine was doing a story on dolls, and she told the editor that she had to call me. So initially, the dolls were called Brown Babies. In 1989, I started doing one-of-a-kind pieces. My mother came down with septicemia, and it was pretty bad. She was in the hospital for almost 2 months. And one day I grabbed a needle and scissors and some thread and an old leather coat, and I just sat there while I was, talking to her, and I started cutting this coat and sewing it. I really liked the way the leather felt, and then I became more enchanted with this idea, so then I started using suede. There's some collectors I have that collect my paintings and never knew that I made dolls. And some people that collect my dolls and are surprised when they realize I paint. And then there's some people who know me as a museum president and CEO and didn't know I was an artist, which I think is funny, because I was doing it at the same time I was doing this other stuff. But when I got to the Barnes Foundation as first director and then president and CEO, I wasn't surprised at this notion that Barnes and John Dewey, who was first director of education of the Barnes, said the lines between fine art and craft are artificial. By segregating out craft, you segregate out populations of people. You eliminate cultures of people and you discount their aesthetic. And so it allows you to still stay within this frame that suggests that the only real artwork comes from Western Europe, which is ridiculous. That's what Barnes was saying, because the Barnes Foundation underpinning is about racial justice. The beads that people think of as African trade beads are all from Europe. So Europeans would take these and trade them for gold, palm oil, other raw supplies, but definitely people. You're looking at the physical remnant of the enslavement. A lot of the shackles are gone. A lot of the ships are gone. All that other stuff. Beads. Incredible hubris combined directly with the same power as horrific self-doubt. And from the center of that is born creativity.